Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Yaka Digital Network. You know, we love to go deep on interesting topics, and today we're diving deep into the science of being.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a classic by Christian D. Larson,
Oh, yeah, I know that one.
published way back in 1923, so it might seem a bit old school at first glance,
Right.
but trust me, the ideas in this book are surprisingly relevant for today.
They really are.
Even for young adults,
Yeah,
navigating all the challenges of today's world.
absolutely. It's fascinating how some truths about life are just timeless.
Yeah.
Larson was writing nearly a century ago, yet his insights into human potential, the power of our minds, they still resonate so deeply today.
Yeah.
It's like he cracked a code to understanding how we can live, more fulfilling and purposeful lives.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but where do we even begin with a book like this? I took a peek in the table of contents,
Right.
and it's packed with these thought-provoking titles like Mind Force, Spiritual Power,
Yeah.
Laws, Absolute and Relative. It feels pretty intense.
It's even a little daunting.
Larson definitely covers some profound concepts,
Yeah.
but he presents them in a way that's surprisingly accessible.
Okay.
He believed that understanding these principles,
Mm-hmm.
it isn't just for, philosophers or scholars.
Right.
It's for everyone.
Yeah.
He wanted to empower ordinary people like you and me
Mm-hmm.
to unlock their potential and live more fulfilling lives.
I love that. So what's the core idea that kind of underpins everything else in the book?
Well, Larson starts with what he calls the great principle.
Okay.
And it's this idea that there's a universal force,
Okay.
a primal energy that flows through absolutely everything.
Wow.
And this energy isn't random or chaotic.
Right.
It expresses itself through these harmonious laws
Uh-huh.
that reveal a profound intelligence, behind the universe.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
Sure.
So it's like we're all connected to this intelligent energy source.
Exactly.
Sort of like how everything is made up of atoms, but on a much grander scale. Exactly. It's this sense of interconnectedness.
Yeah.
And this underlying order in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And Larson breaks down this great principle into 4 key aspects: life, mind, truth, and love.
Okay.
He believed that understanding these aspects is essential to understanding how this universal force works
Mm-hmm.
and how we can align ourselves with it.
All right. This is where things start to get really interesting.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed Larson uses this metaphor of a pyramid
Yes.
to explain how these 4 aspects fit together.
That's a great one.
What's the significance of that?
The pyramid is a powerful symbol of strength and stability.
Yeah.
And Larson uses it to illustrate how these 4 aspects of the great principle, life, mind, truth, and love, are interconnected and support each other.
Okay.
Each one forms a side of the pyramid, with spirit as the apex, the highest point.
So if we want to reach that peak of spirit,
Yes.
we need to develop each of these aspects within ourselves.
Exactly.
It's like building a strong foundation for our lives.
Precisely. And here's a key point, for young adults
Yeah.
like you who are just starting to build their own life pyramids.
Okay.
Larson emphasizes that these aspects aren't isolated.
Okay.
They're interwoven.
Yeah.
So, for example, nurturing the aspect of mind through education,
Yeah.
that can fuel the aspect of life,
Right.
empowering you to pursue your passions with greater understanding.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not just about focusing on one area of our lives. It's about cultivating this sense of balance and wholeness.
Exactly.
Larson also brings up something called the importance of timing
Yes.
in living life correctly.
Yes.
How does that play into all of this?
Well, think about it this way. You might have a great idea.
Okay.
That's mind.
Uh-huh.
And tons of energy and passion to pursue it.
Right.
That's life.
Mm-hmm.
But if you try to force things before the right opportunity arises,
Okay.
that's truth.
Yes.
Or without considering the needs of others,
Mm-hmm.
that's love. You might hit roadblocks and get discouraged.
Wow, I've definitely experienced that.
Right.
I get so excited about new projects, but sometimes I rush into them without thinking things through.
Yeah.
So Larson is saying that being in tune with the right timing for things
Yes.
is just as important as having the right ideas and motivation.
Precisely.
Wow.
It's about recognizing that there are natural rhythms and the cycles to life.
Mm-hmm.
And learning to align ourselves with those rhythms
Yeah.
can make a huge difference in our success and happiness.
That's really powerful. Now, Larson dives into some pretty mind-bending stuff about matter.
He does.
He actually suggests that matter as we perceive it
Yes.
is an illusion.
That's a big one.
How can something we can see and touch be an illusion?
It sounds paradoxical, doesn't it?
It does.
What Larson means is that matter, in its essence, is constantly changing.
Oh,
It's
okay.
formed from this interplay of vibrations and the law of attraction.
Right.
What we perceive as solid objects are really just snapshots of these vibrations
Right.
in a particular moment.
So it's like everything is energy in motion.
Yes,
And our senses are only picking up a fraction of what's really going on.
exactly.
That's a wild thought.
And this leads to another important concept, the soul.
Okay.
Larson describes the soul as an eternal, individual expression of the great principle.
Right.
So while our physical bodies are temporary
Right.
and constantly changing,
Yeah.
our souls are enduring and connected to this universal energy source.
Okay, that's a bit comforting.
Yeah,
It means there's more to us than just this physical existence.
right.
But if we're all swimming in this sea of universal energy, how do we actually tap into it
Yes.
and make it work for us? Larson talks about something called magnetic vibrations or life energy. What are those?
Well, think of it this way. Have you ever walked into a room
Okay.
and felt an instant connection with someone?
Uh-huh.
Or sensed a shift in the energy when someone was feeling down?
Yeah.
Those are examples of how we're constantly exchanging energy with our surroundings.
Right.
Larson calls this life energy.
Okay.
And he believed we can learn to consciously connect with it and direct it for positive purposes.
Yeah, that's empowering.
Yeah.
So it's not just about passively receiving this energy.
Right.
It's about learning to work with it,
Yes.
like a skill we can develop.
Exactly. And Larson offers some practical techniques
Okay.
for accessing and harnessing this life energy. One simple example is the star exercise, where you position your body in a way that enhances the flow of energy.
That sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
So it's not just about mental focus.
Right.
It also involves our physical bodies.
Exactly. Larson believed that our bodies, minds, and spirits are all interconnected, and that working with all three is essential for accessing this universal flow of energy.
I love that this is a holistic approach. He even talks about the human aura.
Yeah.
As this luminous atmosphere surrounding each of us.
It is.
Is that something you can actually see?
Well, some people claim to see auras, though it's definitely a debated topic.
Yeah.
But what's important here is Larson's emphasis on the idea that we're constantly exchanging energy with our environment and with each other through this subtle field.
That's a powerful image. It reminds me of how our words and actions
Right.
can have a ripple effect on those around us.
Yes.
Even when we don't realize it.
Exactly. And Larson believed that by becoming more aware of this energy exchange, we can make conscious choices about the kind of energy we're putting out into the world.
So it's like we're all responsible for creating a positive and uplifting energy field.
Yes.
Not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us.
Precisely. And this leads to another fascinating aspect of Larson's work.
Okay.
His exploration of thought power.
Okay.
He believed that our thoughts are not just these passive things that happen in our heads.
No.
They're potent forces that can shape our reality.
Okay, this is where it gets really juicy. We've all heard about the power of positive thinking, but Larson takes it a step further, right? He describes thought as a living force.
Exactly. He believed that thought is capable of transmitting energy and influencing others, even at a distance. He even proposed that there's a specific part of the brain, the telepathic apparatus, that acts as a receiver and transmitter of thought vibrations.
Whoa, that's a mind-blowing concept. It's like we all have this built-in wireless communication system for thoughts.
It's a powerful idea.
It is.
And Larson provides detailed explanations and techniques for harnessing this thought power for positive purposes.
Okay.
He believed that by becoming more conscious of our thoughts, we can not only influence our own lives, but also contribute to a more positive and harmonious world.
I'm already starting to see how these ideas can be applied to everyday life, especially for young adults facing so many decisions and challenges.
Absolutely.
This is incredible.
And we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore in Larson's The Science of Being.
This is definitely a book I'm adding to my reading list.
You should.
And I'm excited to hear more about how these concepts can be applied to practical situations.
We'll be diving deeper into those practical applications in the next part of our deep dive.
Can't wait. This is already blowing my mind.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're exploring Christian D. Larson's The Science of Being. And I have to say, this book is full of surprises.
It is.
We just talked about the power of thought and how it can actually influence the world around us.
Right.
But something I'm struggling with is how to stay positive. When life throws those inevitable curveballs,
Yeah.
those moments where it feels like nothing is going right,
Absolutely.
how do we
Yeah.
deal with that?
It's a great question, and Larson actually addresses that directly in his book.
Okay.
He distinguishes between what he calls the laws of the absolute,
Okay.
which are like the unchanging universal principles we've been discussing,
Right.
and the laws of the relative. And these are the laws that operate in our everyday human experience.
Mm-hmm.
And they can be a bit trickier to navigate because
Yeah.
they're constantly in flux.
Okay, that makes sense. So the laws of the absolute are like the blueprint for the universe.
Exactly.
And the laws of the relative are how those principles play out in our messy, unpredictable human lives.
You got it. And two of the most prominent laws of the relative that Larson explores are the law of polarity and the law of rhythm.
Right.
Remember we talk about how everything is energy in motion?
Right.
Well, these laws describe the natural ebb and flow of that energy.
The law of polarity is that swing between opposites, day and night success and failure,
Yeah.
joy and sorrow.
Exactly.
It's like that saying, what goes up must come down.
Exactly. And the law of rhythm is about the cyclical nature of things.
Okay.
Think about the seasons changing, the tides coming in and out, even our own energy levels fluctuating throughout the day.
Right?
There's a natural expansion and contraction to everything.
Okay, I see how those laws play out in life, but they can be pretty frustrating at times.
They can.
How are we supposed to deal with those inevitable ups and downs?
Yeah.
Do we just have to grit our teeth and bear it?
Larson's advice is to first become aware of these laws,
Okay.
recognizing that these swings and cycles are natural and not personal failings on our part can be incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
Like understanding the rules of the game so we don't get blindsided and discouraged when things don't go our way.
So it's about learning to ride those waves of life,
Yeah,
knowing that there will be peaks and troughs,
exactly.
and not getting too attached to either extreme.
Precisely. For example, if you're aware of the law of rhythm,
Okay.
you might not get so down on yourself.
Right.
When you hit a low point in a project or a relationship,
Yeah.
you'll remember that an upswing is likely to follow.
That's actually really helpful. Instead of thinking I'm a failure,
Right.
I can reframe it as, okay, I'm in a down cycle right now, but this too shall pass.
Exactly. And when it comes to the law of polarity, Larson encourages us to focus on the positive pole,
Okay.
not by denying the negative,
Right.
but by understanding its purpose.
Okay.
The negative pole is often a catalyst for growth and change.
So it's not about pretending that bad things don't happen,
Right.
but rather choosing to align ourselves with the positive and learning from the challenges.
Exactly. He emphasizes that the positive pole is always more powerful.
Okay.
Even though it might not always feel that way in the moment,
Yeah.
it's about choosing where we direct our energy and attention.
That's a really empowering way to look at things.
Yeah.
Okay, switching gears a bit.
Sure.
We talked earlier about the human aura,
Yes.
this luminous atmosphere that supposedly surrounds each of us.
Right.
Is there any scientific evidence to support that idea? Or is it more of a metaphorical concept?
The existence of auras is definitely a debated topic.
Yeah.
Some people claim to be able to see auras, while others dismiss it as pseudoscience.
Right.
Larson himself believed that we can train our eyes to perceive auras, and even provided exercises for doing so.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
I've always been curious about auras.
Yeah.
But even if we can't physically see them, what's the significance of this concept?
Whether we can physically see them or not.
Okay.
Larson's point is that we're all constantly radiating energy and influencing the energy field around us.
Right.
Our thoughts, emotions, and even our physical states all contribute to this energy field.
So it's like an invisible extension of ourselves that we're carrying around.
It is.
That's kind of a trippy thought.
It is, and it raises some interesting questions about how we impact others, even without realizing it.
Right.
Have you ever noticed how you can feel someone's mood before they even say a word?
Yeah, absolutely.
It could be related to their aura.
I've definitely walked into rooms where the energy felt heavy or tense,
Right.
even if I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So Larson is suggesting that we can be more mindful of the energy we're bringing into those situations.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that we're not isolated beings.
Right.
We're interconnected through this subtle energy field, and we have a responsibility to cultivate a positive and uplifting presence.
That's a powerful reminder, especially in today's world where negativity and conflict seem to be everywhere.
They do.
Okay, so we've talked about the power of thought and the energy we radiate through our auras. Now, I'm curious about what Larson says about actually putting this knowledge into action.
Yeah.
Does he offer any practical tools or techniques?
He does. One of the most intriguing and perhaps controversial aspects of his work is his exploration of mental treatments.
Mental treatments.
Now, this isn't about hypnosis or mind control.
Okay.
It's more about using the power of focused thought to promote healing and positive change.
Okay, that sounds interesting, but also a little intimidating.
Sure.
Could you give me an example of what a mental treatment might look like?
Let's say a friend is going through a difficult time feeling anxious or discouraged.
Okay.
A mental treatment might involve visualizing them surrounded by a warm, healing light and affirming their strength and resilience.
So it's like sending positive energy and supportive thoughts their way, even if they're not physically present.
Exactly. Larson believed that we can project thoughts of love, healing, and encouragement to others.
Okay.
And that these thoughts can have a tangible impact on our well-being.
That's incredible. But isn't there a risk of crossing a line of trying to manipulate someone with our thoughts? How do we ensure that we're using this power ethically?
That's a really important point, and Larson was very clear about the ethical considerations involved in mental treatments.
Okay.
He stressed that it's not about imposing our will on others, but rather about helping them to connect with their own inner strength and potential.
So it's more about empowering them to heal themselves than trying to fix them from the outside.
Exactly. And he emphasizes that mental treatments should always be done with love and compassion. With the highest good of the other person in mind.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between trying to control someone
and
offering them a helping hand.
Exactly.
Now, what about using mental treatments for ourselves? Can we use this power for self-healing?
Absolutely. Larson believed that we can apply these same principles to address our own mental and emotional challenges.
Okay.
He offered specific methods for using mental treatments to overcome negative thinking, cultivate positive emotions, and promote physical well-being.
So it's like taking control of our own mental landscape,
Yeah.
using the power of thought to cultivate a more positive and harmonious inner world.
You got it. And this leads us to another important concept that Larson connects to mental treatments.
Okay.
Intuition.
Okay.
Remember we talked about how everything is energy and how we're all interconnected?
Yeah.
Larson believed that intuition is a way of tapping into that universal energy field and accessing a deeper wisdom that goes beyond our rational mind.
Intuition, you mean? That gut feeling we get sometimes.
It's that.
Is he saying it's more than just a hunch?
Exactly. Larson described intuition as a sixth sense.
Okay.
A way of receiving guidance and insight from a source beyond our conscious awareness. He believed that we can cultivate our intuition through practices like meditation and mindfulness.
So it's like learning to listen to that inner voice that's always there.
Yes.
Guiding us towards our highest good.
Precisely. And Larson believed that intuition is a powerful tool for navigating life's challenges, making decisions, and connecting with our true purpose.
This is also fascinating. I'm starting to see how all these different concepts, the laws of the relative, the human or mental treatments intuition, they all connect to this idea of understanding ourselves as energetic beings who are constantly interacting with the world around us.
You're absolutely right. And Larson's book is really a guide to understanding those connections and learning to work with them consciously to create a more fulfilling and purposeful life.
This is definitely giving me a lot to think about.
And there's even more to explore. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll delve into Larson's final chapter, The Dream, which ties together many of these themes in a powerful and symbolic story.
I can't wait to hear it. This has been an incredible journey so far. Welcome back to The Deep Dive. We've been exploring some pretty amazing concepts from Christian D. Larson's The Science of Being.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has.
Yeah.
We've talked about tapping into our inner power through thought, understanding the natural rhythms of life, and even the idea of a human aura radiating energy.
Yeah.
But there's one more piece of the puzzle I'm really curious about.
Okay.
Spiritual vibrations.
Oh, yes.
Larson seems to suggest that these vibrations are different from the mental vibrations we've discussed so far.
He does.
Oh, so?
Well, he describes spiritual vibrations as operating on a much higher frequency, a level of energy that connects us directly to the divine. And he believes that by aligning ourselves with these spiritual vibrations, we can access a profound level of power and transformation.
Okay, that sounds pretty intense. What does he mean by transformation in this context? We're talking about like superhero level powers?
Well, maybe not superhero powers in the literal sense.
Okay.
But Larson does believe that connecting with spiritual vibrations can lead to a complete shift in consciousness. a
Wow.
purification of the soul,
Wow.
and a profound sense of unity with the divine.
Wow, that's a pretty big claim. He even uses some pretty dramatic imagery to describe this process,
He
like a
does.
baptism by fire. What's that all about?
It's a powerful image.
Hmm.
Larson uses the baptism by fire metaphor to convey the idea that accessing these higher spiritual realms requires a kind of purification,
Okay.
a burning away of old patterns,
Hmm.
limitations, and negativity that
Uh,
might be holding us back.
yeah.
It's not necessarily a comfortable process, but it's essential for spiritual growth.
So it's like we need to go through a spiritual refining process
Yes.
to become receptive to these higher vibrations, kind of like how a blacksmith heats and hammers metal to shape it into something stronger and more beautiful.
That's a great analogy. And Larson provides insights into how we can cultivate the conditions necessary for this transformation to occur.
Okay.
He emphasizes the importance of aligning our thoughts,
Ah.
emotions, and actions with love, truth, and the principles of the great principle.
So it's about consciously choosing to live in a way that resonates with our highest self.
Asa.
It sounds like a lot of inner work,
It is.
but it's also incredibly inspiring to think that we have the power to transform ourselves in such profound ways.
It is. And Larson's book offers a roadmap for embarking on this journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth.
Speaking of journeys, Larson concludes his book with a chapter titled The Two Roads,
Yes.
presenting us with a choice, the human road or the divine road.
It's a powerful metaphor.
Can you explain what he means by that?
Sure. The human road represents a life focused on external achievements,
Yeah.
material possessions, and seeking validation from others.
Mm-hmm.
It's a path that often leads to a sense of emptiness and dissatisfaction,
Right.
even when we achieve outward success.
So it's like chasing after those fleeting things that don't ultimately bring true happiness.
Exactly. The divine road, on the other hand,
Ugh.
is about aligning ourselves with our true nature, our soul's purpose.
Right.
It's about following our inner compass
Hmm.
and living in accordance with spiritual principles, even when it's challenging.
It sounds like the divine road is the path of greater fulfillment,
It is.
but also a path that requires courage and commitment.
You're absolutely right. Larson acknowledges that choosing the divine road can be a path of inner struggle.
Okay.
It requires us to confront our limitations,
Hmm.
overcome our fears,
Right.
and make choices that may not always be popular or easy.
But the rewards seem worth it, wouldn't you say? A life of purpose, meaning, and genuine happiness.
Larson believed so wholeheartedly. He saw the divine road as the path to realizing our full potential
Mm-hmm.
and connecting with the source of true joy and lasting fulfillment.
Now, I'm dying to hear about Larson's final chapter, The Dream.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier that it's a powerful allegory
Yes.
that ties together many of the themes he's explored throughout the book.
The dream is a symbolic tale about the origins of evil, the power of love,
Wow.
and the potential for redemption. Larson uses this captivating story to convey profound spiritual truths
Okay.
in a way that speaks to our hearts and imaginations.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more.
Well, in Larson's dream, he describes a world that has fallen under the shadow of evil.
Okay.
Fear, hatred, and suffering have taken root, and humanity seems lost in a darkness of its own making.
That sounds pretty bleak. Where does the hope come in?
The hope lies in the power of love. In Larson's dream, a small group of individuals awaken to the reality of their situation
Okay.
and choose to fight against the darkness. They understand that love is the only true power that can overcome evil
Right.
and restore harmony to the world.
So it's a story about the battle between love and fear,
Yes,
and the ultimate triumph of love.
exactly. And Larson uses this symbolic tale to remind us that even in the darkest of times, the light of love can never be extinguished.
Yeah.
It's a message of hope and empowerment, reminding us that we each have the power to make a difference in the world by choosing love over fear.
Wow, what a powerful way to end the book. It leaves you feeling hopeful and inspired to create positive change in your own life and in the world.
That's exactly what Larson intended. He wanted to empower his readers to become conscious creators of their own reality, to understand that they are not powerless victims of circumstance, but active participants in the unfolding of their lives and the evolution of humanity.
This deep dive into the science of being has been an incredible journey. We've covered so much ground, from the fundamental principles of the universe to the power of thought, the importance of intuition, and the transformative potential of spiritual vibrations.
It's a book that offers something for everyone, regardless of their age, background, or spiritual beliefs.
Yeah.
There's wisdom and insight here that can benefit anyone who is seeking a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them.
I have to say, I started this deep dive feeling a little intimidated by the title, The Science of Being.
Yeah,
But Larson's writing is surprisingly clear and accessible,
it is.
and his ideas are truly inspiring. I'm walking away from this with a renewed sense of hope
I'm so glad to hear that.
and a deeper understanding of my own potential.
That's wonderful.
So for our listeners out there who are intrigued by what we've discussed today, I highly recommend checking out The Science of Being by Christian D. Larson. You can find the full text of the book and other resources on www.yaka.cc/books.
Or by WhatsApping +2 567 707 0170.
And if you've enjoyed this deep dive, please share it with your friends, family, classmates, anyone who might be blessed by this information.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on the book and the ideas we've explored today. You can connect with us on social media or leave a comment on our website. And don't forget to subscribe to the Yaka Digital Network so you don't miss out on future episodes.
We release new content every day covering a wide range of topics to help you expand your knowledge, unlock your potential, and live a more fulfilling life. Thanks for joining us.